And this microphone is on. Hello, everybody. Hi. Nice to see you. Nice to be here. It's been a couple of months. I'm Judy Maddox. I'm chair of our Western North Carolina Sierra Club. Let me know, am I too loud? Yes, okay. Am I okay now? Is it about right? Okay, great. Please know that we have a website, WNC Sierra Club. We have a Facebook, and we have Meetup, and we have Instagram. Oh my gosh. So please like us and love us anywhere that you can love us. So let me figure out. Tonight, as you know, is going to be electrification, and I'm going to introduce you to Sophie in just a little bit. But first, I want to tell you that we are very, very grateful to be partners with this wonderful place, with OLLI. This is OSHA Lifelong Learning Center, and they are providing the tech and the wonderful student tech who helped us just now, and lots of classes. How many of you are taking OLLI classes? I know I am. Yes, well, anytime, yes, forever. And we are Sierra Club, and there are 3 different levels of Sierra Club. I would encourage you, and on our table, there are some membership forms, some little ones, where you can sign up to be a member, starting with the state chapter. The national, I mean, all of that will get you all 3 levels. The national will give you a magazine, a really pretty magazine, once a month that will tell you international trips and all of the things that we're working on. I just got the high sign that I forgot. If you have not signed in, please do that at your convenience, and please sign our petition to ban single-use plastics, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So there are 2 things, sign-ins on the table. But the first is national. The second is the chapter of North Carolina, and they are working on all kinds of things, like in particular on the coast. We are really struggling with our trees, our beautiful forests being cut down and made into pulp and wood chips, shipped off to England to be burnt as renewable fuel. So we are really struggling hard trying to get the governor to ban that. And of course, you know us, because we are Western North Carolina. And we send out, if you are not already signed up for our emails, please do that. Please go on our website, WNC Sierra Club, and there is a place over on the right bottom that will tell you e-newsletter. You can stop anytime, but you get it every other Saturday. It tells you action alerts. It tells you our programs. So please join us. We want to gratefully acknowledge that we are on Cherokee land, and they have been a wonderful caretaker all these millennia for our forest, our streams, our environment. We're very grateful. We have our programs every first Wednesday at 7 o'clock right here. If you are interested at 5 o'clock, please let me know. We have a leaders meeting that starts upstairs. And what that does is bring in people from all different areas to say, you know, what kind of programs do we want to plan for the next month or 2 or whatever? What kind of action alerts do we want to do? And I'm going to tell you some of those. Number 1 is Duke Energy. How many of you guys know there's a hearing next Tuesday? Would you raise your hand? Oh, wow, not that many of you. Well, just a brief, and please go on our website to find links. Think about going in person next Tuesday, Buncombe County Courthouse for the hearing. Duke is our monopoly. Duke is our energy source. And the Utilities Commission is blessed or cursed by the North Carolina legislature to oversee and to make carbon plans. And they've been ordered, this is House Bill number 951, to lower our carbon footprint by 70% by 2030. Well, you know, 2030 is not very far off from the baseline of 2005. Well, guess what? Duke has written a revised plan as of January 31st 2 months ago, saying, you know what, guys, it just ain't gonna happen. We've had such a huge growth, like 8 times more than what we thought. You know, what we want to do is triple our gas. We want to build some more gas power plants. And we want you to seriously think about, you know, what about solar? What about wind? What about batteries? And I think the Utility Commission would appreciate, but you cannot identify yourself in any way as Sierra Club. Identify yourself as a ratepayer. Your rates, surprise, surprise, are going up because the price of gas is going up. So there are 3 things for you to know. Number 1, there'll be a big rally at 5:30 in front of the courthouse. Number 2, you need to sign in if you want to speak at 6:30 so that you will be on the list. It'll start at 7. And number 3, if you can't be there, like I cannot be there, there's a virtual on April 23rd. And again, there's a link. There are links, again, if you go to our website, both to write and to sign up for the virtual. There are some talking points out on the table if you're interested from Mountain True. Okay, action alert number 2. We are trying to ban plastic bags and styrofoam now. And maybe you know that we actually had Buncombe County and Asheville City ready to ban. And the state legislature, in their infinite wisdom, stepped in for the budget and said, no municipality, no county, no nothing can ban nothing. So what we're asking is for Ingles, Walmart, Target, CVS, all the businesses around. And you know what? For Earth Day, which is coming up April 22nd, we are asking the municipalities who are very friendly, Woodfin, Black Mountain, Asheville, Buncombe County, to step forward and say, we as governments are asking our governments to do all this, to ban. We are business. We're going to ban ourselves. So look for that around Earth Day. We're very excited about that. But there's a petition right out here. Sign it. Think about signing it if you haven't already. There's a river cleanup. Richard Kark, if you would like to tell us all about it.
I really hope to get a couple or a handful of volunteers to do this activity, which is really exciting and rewarding and fun. It's a tradition we used to do and we're reviving again after COVID is gone. Richard Kark. Yeah. So we're reviving this river cleanup tradition and there's Zooming people too, right? Yeah, so people on Zoom can look at the email too.
I misspelled your name.
Oh, no, K-A-R-K.
R.
K-A-R-K, correct.
Is it not R-A after that?
No, that's correct.
That is
correct. Oh, no, it isn't. It's K-R-K-R-A. You're right. The R is missing after the, whoa, that's serious. It's K-A-R-K-R-A. I'll put this up here.
My apologies, it doesn't work.
So it's a fun tradition. It'll be on Saturday, April 27th, probably starting at about 10 in the morning, probably about 3 hours on the river in canoes. We use Greenworks canoes. They provide the canoes, the paddles, the life jackets and the loppers, or not loppers, but the grabbers to grab stuff from the shore. And you tend to go down the river and you spot junk along the shore or floating into some logs, and you go over and pick them up and throw them in your canoe. And at the end, we unload them. It's good to have some experience canoeing, at least among one of the partners. There are 2 people canoes because it requires some maneuvering just to get in and out of the banks and not get swept into down trees and things like that. But not a lot of skill, but just some skill among one of the 2 paddlers. And if you're solo, we'll find you a partner. So don't worry if you're solo. And if you've got a kayak at home, you could bring that and you could go down the river and we would arrange a shuttle for you somehow. And you could ferry junk over to the nearest canoe because I know a lot of kayakers these days. So that's, it'll be about 3 hours on the river. Yeah. Yeah, well, probably, we're pretty sure, if you sign up, I'll give you all the details, but it's probably going to be a stretch of the French Broad from the River Arts District down to the Pearson Bridge, which is where the French Broad Outfitters is. That's been our typical stretch, and there's always junk. It's amazing what you can find along there, and it's kind of fun and rewarding to pick it all up and do some good. So please consider signing up, and I'll be around to talk to if you want more details.
Is this your sheet?
Yes, I've got a sheet to pass around. So you can put your name, your email, your phone number, and you're not signing your life away. I would just keep you informed about the details and would hope that you'd show up. And later on, I'd probably try to get you to commit more strongly. But please pass this around and sign up, and I'll be around for questions.
Can I see a show of hands? Is there anybody here who's interested in doing that? Not sure. Okay, you've got 1 there, 2 there, and maybe 3 there. Great. Okay. Want to tell you about our hikes. We have 2 this month. One is actually this Saturday, and one is Monday, the 15th. So if you are interested, please see me afterwards because I need to sign you up right away for April 6th. Our next program, May 1st, which is very timely. As you know, it is wildflower season. Is this the most beautiful spring you have ever seen? I mean, it is just incredible. So we have Marcia Broomberg from Carolina Mountain Club, who's going to tell you about beautiful trails all around Asheville. So please join us either here or online. Say again? Bromberg. And now, yes, Dave. Oh, Dave, come on up. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I'm Dave Erb, and I want to remind everybody that Drive Electric Earth Month is going to happen here in Asheville on Sunday, the 21st of April, out at the Asheville Outlet Mall from noon to 4. We didn't get a slide together, but if you want to go online and find details, it's at driveelectricearthmonth.org. Again, driveelectricearthmonth.org. Right now, we've got about 50, I think, cars signed up, representing about 30 models. Both those numbers should go up quite a bit. If you've got an EV, we'd love to have you bring it out and show it off.
And I want to, yes, I want to tell you that there are 2 charming men out in the foyer who are with solar. And this certainly dovetails into what Sophie is going to tell you. And Diane, you want to come up for just a minute?
I have a quick announcement. Jubilee Earth Team and Creation Care Alliance are co-sponsoring the film Common Ground. Some of you have already seen it. It's been in the theaters, but this is a showing at West Asheville Library on Tuesday, April 23rd, from 6 to 8 p.m. We're not charging anything. We got a free thing to use. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, so hope to see you all there. Common Ground is a great movie. It's got lots of information about agricultural practices and lots of good stuff, but also lots of bad stuff.
Thank you. Okay, so now to introduce to you Sophie Molinex, and she is going to also help introduce herself, but she is with Electrify Asheville Buncombe County, and she used to be with Blue Horizons, Greenbelt. Yep, so come on up, Sophie.
We might need Ava. Sorry, Ava. Just to get this one up there, do I need to drag it? Is it this one? Perfect. And then once I hit slideshow, it'll show up there too. No. I need to drag it. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And it's still showing on Zoom.
Yes, if you just hit slideshow up there.
Yeah. And you're confirming. Okay, good. Great. Okay, sorry about that.
Well, one last, reminding people to hold your questions, and those of you guys in chat, wait until the end, but you guys hold your we'll have microphones.
I have a whole slide for questions. Don't worry. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me and for Sierra Club for inviting me. Really happy to be here. So who am I? Why am I here? I care deeply about equitable and accessible action to combat the climate crisis that we're all living through right now. I find knowledge to be really empowering, and I love to share knowledge with people, knowledge that can change lives. I'm here because our city and county are investing in data-driven solutions to spark local action against the climate crisis. Sorry, is it not loud enough? It's good, sorry. And this is a picture of me with my almost 3-year-old and almost 6-year-old and my partner, and our children are the future, and they're counting on us, the grown-ups, to do the right thing. What's Electrify Asheville Buncombe? So it's a city and county sponsored pilot to focus on home electrification. And it aims to empower our community to actively participate in the ambitious clean energy goals of the city of Asheville and Buncombe County. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try to get this on this screen so I don't have to stare up there for 45 minutes. There we go. Great. So some of you might be familiar with a 2017 resolution that Buncombe County and the city of Asheville adopted to commit to 100% renewable energy in the city and the county community-wide by 2042 and for municipal operations by 2030, which, as Judy told us, is just around the corner. So we were the first in Western North Carolina and the second in the state to make this type of resolution. And through the Blue Horizons Project, we locally can find ways to act on that. And Blue Horizons Project is a proud partner of Electrify Asheville Buncombe. So as part of this resolution, there was a plan put forth and it identified 3 pathways. First of all was energy efficiency. So let's all be more efficient with the energy we do use to power our lifestyles. The second was to green the grid. Adding more renewable energy to the grid is something that I think we all want. So encouraging that. And the third, which is what I'm going to talk about, is to electrify our buildings. There's a couple of artworks that I'm going to have in my slideshow by this artist, Nicole Kellner, who I encourage you to look up. She's a climate change artist, and I just love her drawings. So, sure. Thank you. So the electrification movement is a national, if not global movement at this point. You may have heard of Rewiring America, which is a national nonprofit think tank focused on rewiring America to electrify our lives. So if the idea is to electrify every energy flow that's currently powered by fossil fuels, including our buildings, manufacturing, and transportation. And if we electrify everything, Saul Griffith, the founder of Rewiring America, has said in his book called Electrify Everything, we could potentially save 75% of the energy currently used in the United States.
Wow. So it's about electrifying everything that's currently on fossil fuels using electrification. Saul Griffith, Rewiring America.
Yep. Yeah, so let's hold comments if you're on Zoom until the very end, because I would love to hear from you then. Okay, so this estimate is based on energy or the energy savings and efficiency gains that come with electric technologies compared to fossil fueled counterparts. When we electrify, it's simply more efficient. And electrifying everything is simply better. Our homes and buildings are more comfortable and more resilient. They're healthier. We're not setting little tiny fires in our houses and buildings to power our homes and our lives. Healthier indoor air quality improves. More efficient. Electric appliances and machines generally use less energy than their fossil fuel counterparts, and cheaper because of these efficiency gains. So the city and the county came to the company that I work for, which is called Bright Spaces, which works on community clean energy campaigns around the country to help launch this electrification pilot here in Buncombe County. And they asked us to focus on heat pumps, which can heat and cool a home. And that's because heating and cooling a building can comprise 40% of that building's energy use. So it's one of the biggest energy users to tackle first. So we aim to help people understand what heat pumps are, which I'll go into, and why we should consider adopting them at the time of failure for your heating and cooling system in your home and in other applications that they exist in. So to me, heat pumps are almost magic. You might be young enough to recognize that person in the top right. So rather than setting a tiny fire, combusting a fuel to create heat, they move or transfer heat. To me, this is magic. They have a coefficient of performance of 3 to 5, which means for every unit of energy you put into a heat pump, you get 3 to 5 units out. So magic. So more about heat pumps. So we all have a heat pump in our home already, regardless of whether you have a heat pump to heat and cool your home, and it's called a refrigerator. Heat pumps use electricity to transfer heat from a cool space to a warm space, making the cool space cooler and the warm space warmer, or vice versa, depending on the application or the season you're in. During the heating season, heat pumps move heat from the cool outdoors into your warm house, and they can extract heat down to very low temperatures because they rely on compression of refrigerants that they can actually draw heat out of very cold air and transfer it into your home. And during the cooling season, it happens in reverse. It's moving heat out of your home. Some heat pumps that are used for heating and cooling have backup heat strips for extremely cold temperatures, but most modern heat pumps no longer need these. Other common heat pump applications you might be familiar with are hot water heaters, heat pump dryers, and the heating system in some electric cars, which if you drive an electric car or are familiar with them, using the heat in the wintertime really, really drains the battery. I've experienced this as my first winter driving an electric car, and I really try not to use the heat, and I just throw my kids some down comforters in the back while I put on my seat warmer. And all of these applications of heat pumps are just at least 30% more efficient than their counterparts. So if you're looking at a water heater, putting a heat pump on top of a water heater is just way more efficient than the electric resistance heat, because it's moving heat rather than generating heat. Same with heat pump dryers. They're about 20 to 30% more efficient than electric dryers, and they're ventless too. They don't need a vent. They actually reuse the heat that is generated instead of exhausting it outside your house. Some of our pilot program goals are to do stuff like this: increase homeowner knowledge, learn about the why and the what of electrification. And this is a key part of the program that we're launching. It's to identify and vet local participating contractors who, once you've learned about electrification and you're on board, you want to be able to find a trusted, vetted contractor to actually perform the work and installation for you. So that's part of what we're going to be offering too. We'll hopefully be offering very competitive pricing and the ability to go in on group purchasing to drive down the cost for people who say want to go in and buy hot water heaters together at the same time. You can achieve some bulk discounts that way. We also want to help educate people about the pretty crazy world of incentives right now. I'm sure you all have heard of the Inflation Reduction Act and the various tax credits and rebates that are either available now or will be available, we hope very soon. as well as some more locally based rebates through Duke Energy. So we have a platform that we've developed that this pilot program will live on, and it includes calls to action, education, the marketplace where you can identify things that you might want to electrify in your home or business, focus on homeowners for now and heat pumps for now, find a participating and vetted local contractor, find out about financing if that's something that you need. We have a great partnership with the newly created Green Bank in North Carolina, the North Carolina Clean Energy Fund, and learn about other incentive opportunities. We also want this to be a place where people can go and continue on an electrification journey. So if I am replacing my heat pump or my gas furnace with a heat pump, maybe 5 years later, I'm going to be replacing my hot water heater or my clothes dryer, my car, getting a battery, getting an induction cooktop, etc. For contractors, we hope this will be a benefit to them because being a participant in Electrify Asheville Buncombe will sort of be a badge that they can wear, put on their website, and just show that they are on board with the electrification movement and Electrify Asheville Buncombe and have been vetted by the process that we have set forth. And for consumers, you can go onto electrifyashevillebuncombe.com, electrifyabc.com soon, not yet, and create a free energy profile where you can answer questions about your home, the fuels it uses, the square footage, your electrification goals, and you will get a score and a sort of a roadmap to what you could possibly consider electrifying. One of the primary things that we recommend everyone, if you haven't already, is to get a professional energy audit. These give you a diagnostic test of your home to test it for its energy efficiency. And it often reveals things that you might not know, or it could confirm something that you had a hunch about, such as, gosh, my daughter's bedroom, it really didn't have any insulation on the floor or something like that because it always was cold. But they can be a great starting point, and they are going to be very affordable for people of all income levels through the program. So another program goal is education. Electrification is not a new concept to me, but it's a new concept to a lot of people, and really honing in on what that really means in your day-to-day life is something that we're going to be working on. We want to educate people about the electrical technologies and energy efficiency services that are available here in our community to help people electrify. We also want to demystify the Inflation Reduction Act and the local incentives here. So going into incentives and financing, how do you pay for this stuff? Heat pumps typically are not the cheapest thing that you can buy. However, we're focusing on them. So we want to make sure that people are aware of the various incentives, financing, rebates, et cetera, that are available for them. And this is going to be my Halloween costume this year. It is a heat pump compressor with a mini split head. I think it's quite cute. I've asked Rewiring America actually for the plans so I can make it out of cardboard, and they said they'd send them to me. For contractors, there's just, I can't overstate how much there is to learn and keep track of in the incentive space. You know, there's the Inflation Reduction Act, which has tax credits that are available right now. And there are state level rebates that will flow through our state energy office that we've been told are coming soon. That moved from 2024 spring to 2024 fall. Now 2025 spring is what we are hearing now. However, keeping track of them and for both contractors and consumers and providing trusted information about them is very important to us because we see this as sort of a bank account or a coupon, as my colleague Ken likes to say, and if you don't use it, you can lose it. So we're really proud to be partnering with the North Carolina Clean Energy Fund. This is the first green bank in North Carolina, and they fill a very important gap that has existed for a long time, and that is getting loans and financing to fund clean energy upgrades in your home. Previously, it was not possible to get this type of loan to fund this particular type of thing, like a heat pump or weatherization of your home or a hot water heater or et cetera. So they are partnering with Self-Help Credit Union, which is a trusted community credit union owned by its members. Buncombe County has put forth $100,000 in the form of a loan loss reserve to help make the interest rate and risk of this loan more competitive and lower risk. It's going to be very straightforward. The terms are not quite finalized, but they'll be very competitive interest rates and will be accessible to people with low credit scores down to, I believe, 540, which is quite low for financing. And this loan product will be available only to Buncombe County residents. So this is a program that I just wanted to touch on briefly, and it's not currently in existence, but it is coming. So this is for Duke Energy customers, and it's another way to finance clean energy upgrades. It's called tariff on bill financing. Sometimes it's called pay as you save in other states, but it is where you essentially get financing from Duke Energy and then you pay it back on your utility bill. And the idea is, and it has to be as mandated by the Utilities Commission, a low enough interest rate that you pay Duke that you're still saving at least 10% on your energy costs. So this is a great program to watch out for. So more about incentives. These are the tax credits, and I apologize for this being small. It's just a lot. But these graphics come from the North Carolina Clean Energy Technology Center housed at NC State, which is a fantastic resource for keeping track of the state level rebates that are hopefully coming soon. So currently for heat pumps today, if you were to install a new qualifying heat pump, you could claim a tax credit of $2,000 up to 30% of the cost of it. And similar tax credits for different types of technologies. But as I said, we're focusing on heat pumps. So these are the rebates that I've referred to that people say are coming, and I do want to believe them. So in early 2025, these are supposedly going to be available to us as point of sale rebates. And these are specifically designed for low and moderate income populations who are quite often and too often left out of the clean energy movement. And so people who are making less than 80% area median income are eligible for half of project costs covered or installation costs covered. And people who are making, sorry, I said that wrong. If you're a low income, less than 80% area median income, you're eligible for 100% of project and installation costs covered. And then if you're moderate income, which is defined as 80 to 150% of area median income, you're eligible for up to 50% cost coverage. And these are the rebates that are quite, compelling, because for a heat pump, which is the fifth line down in that table, a low income family could get up to $8,000 and could completely cover the cost of a heat pump. In my previous job, I did quite a lot of work with the low income community here in Buncombe County, and there are 18,000 mobile homes in Buncombe County, most of them powered by very aging fossil fuel equipment or just baseboard heat, incredibly expensive and inefficient and dangerous. So this could really change lives for the better. There are also Duke Energy rebates, and on our website, we hope to be able to translate all of this for you to be able to know what you're eligible for in terms of incentives and what you can layer on top in terms of a tax credit, a rebate, the financing, et cetera. So for Duke, we'll give you a rebate as well if you use one of their participating contractors of up to $465 for a heat pump, $350 for a heat pump hot water heater, attic insulation and ceiling, $250, sealing your ductwork, $100, and then a pool pump. Not sure why that's up there, but I guess they use a lot of energy. Another program goal is that we want folks to go and create a profile on our website to be able to track and continue their electrification journey. For contractors, this would mean continuously offering services that exist in the electric universe. So heat pumps, heat pump hot water heaters, electrical panel upgrades, EV charging infrastructure, batteries, solar, you name it. If it's electric and it can go in a house and it qualifies for a federal tax credit or incentive, then we eventually want to see it on our platform so people can continue on a journey like this. So for consumers, as I said, we want people to continuously move to 100% electrification. And for the community and our funding partners, we want to be able to report out data and analysis on the investment that they have made in this type of program. Part of this campaign is going to be a festival called ELECTRIFY. And it's not the first of its kind, but it's the first one here. And it's going to be a showcase of electrified electric appliances and technology. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. We're going to have all sorts of exhibitors with appliances on display, hopefully some electric cars and electric bikes to test out, induction cooking demonstrations, food trucks, fun and games. And we hope that you will join us at AB Tech on June 8th, 11 to 5. That's all I've got for you. And I would love to take some questions. Invite you to scan the QR code if you would like. That'll take you to electrifyabc.com, where you can sign up to stay tuned for updates, as well as if you scroll to the very bottom of that page, our social media accounts are linked at the bottom there. We're trying to build our following. And email us anytime at hello@letsgoelectric.com. Thank you.
So we have a couple of microphones, Richard and Dave. So you have questions, just raise your hand.
Okay, I have two questions. So the first one is, do you have any sense of where the state is going in terms of their IRA money? My second question is, in terms of the federal tax credit, is my understanding that you cannot carry that forward, that all has to be used in 1 year. Is that correct?
The first question was about the state level rebates through the IRA, and that is what everybody is waiting for. And so I'm pretty well connected with folks who are in touch with the state energy office. The North Carolina Clean Energy Fund is keeping very close tabs on this, and we have heard that it will be early 2025 before those come to ground. But believe you me, we will try to get the word out as quickly as we can along with everybody else, because those will be life-changing. Secondly, I believe that you can't necessarily carry a tax credit forward. However, you can say do your heat pump and claim that tax credit in 1 year, and then move on to another appliance and claim that tax credit in the next year. I believe the max, if I'm not mistaken, in one tax year is about $3,200 that you can claim right now, but I would have to check on that.
I have a question about refrigerants, and I know enough to be dangerous, so I'm going to ask it anyway. but
Probably know more than I do.
So heat pumps obviously have refrigerants in them. So I know EPA came out with some rule recently to mandate reduction in refrigerants so that they have less of an impact. How can we buy a heat pump that has less of an impact with the refrigerants? Is there a solution?
Yeah, so the transition that's happening is a phased transition from, I believe, R410A refrigerant to a new one whose name escapes me, but it is a much climate friendlier refrigerant. And so the contractors that we've been vetting and onboarding have actually had this conversation with us, and they are very eager to get those new heat pumps with that new refrigerant in people's homes, because the last thing they want to do is sell you a heat pump with R410A, because that refrigerant, when you need to replenish it in your system, is going to just get more expensive because it's going to get rarer and rarer. So I would encourage you to seek out a heat pump that takes that new refrigerant. And I don't know the models or manufacturers or even if they are actually available quite yet. But ask a good contractor.
I guess mine has to do, I have an older house, a house from about 100 years old, and it has a furnace. Now, other than the heat pump, it has the ductwork. So how, it would have to have all the ductwork installed. Is it $250? Was that for all the installation of the ductwork? Or what type of tax credit would there be for that?
There is a $2,000 tax credit to install a qualifying heat pump right now. And I probably should have mentioned that heat pumps don't all have to have ducts. There are ductless heat pumps, and they actually are the most efficient ones you can buy if you can handle having sort of a bulkhead on your wall. They're used all over Asia and Europe, and they're great for homes that are older and don't have ductwork.
Okay, so like on a two-story house and multiple rooms, you would have,
You might have one in each room, but it sounds like you do have ductwork, so I would want, no, you don't have any ductwork.
No,
Sorry, I
no.
misunderstood you.
no, no, it's
yeah.
a 100-year-old house.
Right,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, ductless heat pumps are made for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I have a bunch of questions from the online group. Okay, start with a comment. Home Depot sells a 220-volt plug-in 65-gallon heat pump, water heater that uses 440 watts. It will also dehumidify your basement using less current than a typical dehumidifier. That's from John Hayfield. And William Height says he got one, but it took 22 days, which is a long time to wait if you have a water heater that just went on the fritz. Hopefully Home Depot will carry more in stock. So a question, I'm getting a new heat pump soon. Currently, I have a propane furnace as a backup for really cold days. How does an electric strip furnace compare with the propane furnace?
Well, one is electric and one is not. This is Electrify Asheville Buncombe, so I would totally encourage that person to get a heat pump. And as I said, there are the heat pumps that are on the market today don't necessarily need those backup heat strips. They are so efficient that they can operate in incredibly low temperatures. And believe it or not, Maine is one of the leaders in the country right now in terms of heat pump installations. There's a huge statewide campaign in Maine all about heat pumps. And if Maine can do it, so can Asheville.
Thank you. I have more from online. What happens to these incentives in 2025 if there was a new political regime? I don't think you can answer that.
I don't have a crystal ball, but the people who know more than me that I ask tell me that the IRA is safe, but I'm not sure.
Cindy Shilkret says, we're planning to buy an induction stove to replace our gas stove. What credits and rebates are available to us?
You said you saw it on here? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so there is no tax credit for an induction cooktop. There is a rebate. And remember that those rebates are not available yet. But for people making between 80 to 150% area median income, you're eligible for up to $840 for an induction stove or just a normal electric stove. Induction is nice. However, the energy they save is just about 2 or 3% over their electric counterparts, just normal electric stoves. So the advice that I have is that if you want to induction and you already have electric, you might consider waiting unless you really just want the experience of induction, which is much more akin to the controllability of controlling a flame on a gas stove.
And Cindy adds, thanks for a valuable presentation. Don Moreland asks, can you carry forward solar and battery tax credits?
I think Don Moreland might know that answer better than I do because he's the founder of the company I work for. As if he's asking that just to test me. The
Hey, this is Don. No. It was, I was commenting on the previous question where you cannot carry forward some of the like heat pump tax credits and some of the other electrification tax credits. Solar and battery are under a different code section, and you can carry those forward for up to 5 years for those two.
Don, that was a trick question. Don't do that to me again.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Don.
John Hayfield says Duke is giving a credit up to $1,117 to get a 240-volt outlet
Yep.
for a level 2 charger in your garage for an EV or a plug-in hybrid.
That's true. I actually did that myself this year. They paid for all of it.
Wow. I put,
I actually just, no, you just have to pay for the permit, actually, $125 to the city of Asheville for an electrical permit.
wonder if they'll go back 5 years and give me a credit for the charger I put in 5 years ago. Don't think so. Okay, we'll take more from online after some from in the room.
I just want to clarify, are you talking about the mini split unit?
Yeah, mini splits are heat pumps. They're called mini splits or ductless.
Yeah,
Mini
because I
heat
actually
pumps.
looked into that because my furnace went out and you have to do all this wiring outside of the house and, okay, that's,
You do, that's for the refrigerant line. to
Yeah.
Connect the compressor to the actual head.
yeah, it's more complex and, okay, thank,
Less complex than ductwork, though.
not in my case.
No?
Yeah, thank you though.
I wanted to ask anyone in the room, does anybody have a hot water heat pump?
I do.
I was curious, how much noise do these make if you have them, for example, under a bedroom? People have asked me about that. That's one question. Had one other one also.
Mine, I think, is a lot like my refrigerator.
Yeah, to me, it's imperceptible.
The other thing was if you have because we have 2 heat pumps to take care of the house, so I have some idea of how they work. Also, if you have one in an area that, say, you might be occupying in a basement also, it's getting its heat from taking it out of the air. So you're going to replace the heat probably by your heat pump or something that heats a house, I guess. Any comments about the trade-off there? You know,
You're talking about
if
putting a
it's free.
heat pump, hot water heater in your living conditioned space.
Mhm.
It's stealing the heat from your house.
right.
I mean, yeah, that's true. They're very efficient, however. They exhaust very dry but cool air. That's about 55 degrees. Someone had a comment that they dehumidify your basement. That's true. They may not be as powerful or like be able to dehumidify a whole space, but it's true that if they're going to be released, they're heating the water, the cool air has to go somewhere. And if you have a heat pump hot water heater in your living space, it'll make it a little bit cooler.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Dave knows more than I do about this.
I'd like to add to that. Keep in mind also, you have a cooling season. So when that heat pump water heater is in your conditioned space, it's taking heat out of your room and putting it into water during
Yeah.
the summer.
I have a question. It has to do with new construction. Is either the federal tax credit currently or the proposed state tax credit when it's announced, or even Duke, we're talking about 3 different possible sources for credits.
Mhm.
Are any of them paying attention to promoting or incentivizing new construction? If that is the case, in what manner is that done? For instance, can a builder who does a so-called spec house, a prospective plan to sell to someone, can that builder generate a tax credit that can be redeemed by the future owner of that house? Or
my,
any of these,
my gut is
these that you're
sling-
talking about up here?
Yeah, I wish my friend Don Nicholson were here because he is all about this, but I don't believe so. I believe it has to be an individual taxpayer used at their residence. So if a builder is paying for that, it would be from ostensibly a business account. And that's not who the tax credits were designed for. They're designed for homeowners.
One other question, and is there any such thing as a single burner inductive?
Yes. Yes. You can buy them for less than $100 on Amazon. Come to ELECTRIFY and come watch us boil water.
Sophie, I know you're focused on individual homeowners, but there are a lot of congregate housing communities and a lot of development of apartment buildings, for instance. Are any of the incentives or things you're working with, particularly for heat pumps, since that's where you're focused on, available if somebody was going to convert from a current gas system, say, or non-electric system to an electric heat pump in a place where an individual homeowner doesn't own it, a congregate owner owns it, and they're not going to qualify for the rebates, I know, but they might qualify for the tax credits or other incentives.
Are you talking about how a business entity owns the multifamily situation?
I'm talking about both a business entity, but I'm also talking about nonprofits like continuing care communities. I live at Givens Estates, Deerfield, Givens Highland Farms. We're all nonprofits. We all qualify for the 30% rebate on solar installations, I know, because there's non-taxpayers can qualify for those now. Let's not go into the details.
Yeah, through direct pay.
Through a direct pay or elective pay, whatever they're calling it. But I don't know that that the incentives for heat pumps or things like that, the rebates have income limits on it. Most of those places probably people exceed the income limits, but they don't own the property either. No, what I'm trying to do is, how does a group buying situation work, basically? That is not a bunch of individuals, it's an entity.
Yeah, I think that the advice there would be similar to what we advise renters, unfortunately, who have limited control over, the centralized heating systems, cooling systems, water heating systems in their homes, which is to do things like get a single induction burner. If you would like, you can encourage Givens Estates to look into the available incentives. I believe direct pay is part of the Inflation Reduction Act because the solar credits are part of the Inflation Reduction Act as well. And so I would have to do a little bit of research and I would be happy to talk to you more about that and help find an answer.
I have two kind of questions. One is, there was a program here several months ago about the Inflation Reduction
Oh,
Act,
great.
and it talked about businesses, like, well, so I went to the site and it looked like everything was geared toward contractors and people that were installing it. And then I forgot my other question.
What was the website? Was it the IRS website?
Yeah, so I was just, and so I tried looking for something, but I couldn't find information for individuals. So you're doing individuals.
Yes. Yep.
Do some more from online. Is there a service available to come and evaluate older homes with a combination of heating, cooling systems to figure out the best way to update update the home in a cost-effective way?
Yes, I would recommend they get an energy audit.
Energy audit.
Mhm.
Okay,
A
where can they
professional.
get recommendations for companies to do that?
Very soon on electrifyabc.com. And we actually have an energy auditor company on there right now called Conservation Pros. If you just can't wait for Electrify Asheville Buncombe to fully launch, you can give Harper at Conservation Pros a call. He takes a whole home approach and will run diagnostic tests to determine what needs to be done in that home and how to prioritize it. Conservation Pros.
Cinda, I hope that works. William Height says, a 2-in-1 heat pump, washer dryer is now on the market at Lowe's and Home Depot. They recently purchased a GE Profile 2-in-1 unit. What's great is it runs on 110 volts, which has saved the 30 amp 240 circuit that was previously used. It's not cheap. It's 2,500, but it's on par with more premium washer and dryer combos. Also, it's much quieter operation and you don't have to babysit your laundry. Yes. Someone writes, Star says, so the energy companies are going to generate all this power using what method?
So that climate change artist, Nicole Kellner, has a really fun graphic about how the US is powered. Go to her website, seriously, it'll just make you smile. Yeah, so that's a problem, right? A lot of our electricity here is generated by natural gas. However, I believe, and I think that the research backs this up, that it is still more efficient and cheaper to switch to all electric and less polluting in North Carolina. That is not true 100% across the board in every single state. However, every single major utility in the United States is continuously adding more renewable energy, closing coal plants. So we are greening the grid a lot slower than we would like, but it is happening.
Okay, and last one here is, how many years is the Inflation Reduction Act incentives? How long are they supposed to last? And how long do we have to apply?
2032 till 2032. 10 years since it was passed.
Okay, that's great.
And I have a question, Dave, about cars. Is there an IRA incentive for buying electric vehicles?
Yeah, there are quite a few of them. They apply, they apply to certain cars because there are Buy America provisions that you have to have, in particular, the batteries built in the US and the materials sourced in the US. So it gets a little complicated as to which vehicles qualify. There is also a $4,000 tax credit on used EVs, but you can only get it if you're buying through a dealer. And there are some stipulations on that as well. The car can only get that used car credit once. But the beauty of these is that they are rebates. You can get them at point of sale. And so if people would like the real down in the weeds, down the rabbit hole version of that, come see me afterwards. Beth has a question here.
No, Beth has an offer. I was so busy collecting your names and your emails that I forgot to mention, we have this as a gift for anyone who needs a water bottle. It's a Sierra Club bottle. No takers? Uh-oh, Sophie's gonna have to take it home. You already have one. Oh, okay. Well, oh, it comes in this handy little bag, plastic bag, you know.
One other question regarding solar. We have our two great gentlemen in the back, John from Renew Solutions, if I'm saying that right, Isaac from Sugar Hollow. How about the incentives for placing solar? I don't know if you two want to answer that, or Sophie, if you can answer that.
And we got the experts in the room, but
Okay. Dave, you want to give him a microphone?
yeah.
Yeah, so does anyone have any questions regarding solar or rebates? Or, yes?
Way back in 2017, we put in 24 panels on our roof.
Mhm.
And since then, I haven't been able to get anybody to talk to me about a battery.
Did we install Sugar Hollow Solar?
No,
Who did you install with?
Sundance.
Okay, yeah, Sundance capacity has been a bit reduced, but they're still servicing and installing new systems. Both of our companies offer, I'm not gonna specify one or the other. We both offer renewable solutions. Sorry, I'm not used to talking into a mic like this. So we offer solutions, battery backup solutions, both Renew and Sugar Hollow Solar. I believe we both have very similar offerings. Depending on what you're looking for, we can definitely take a look at it. I will say, depending on the age of your system and the inverters that were installed, we might have to have some work done to make it compliant and able to receive a battery, but we both can offer that. So if you're interested, you can come talk to, we have tables out there.
Are there rebates or any incentives for this?
Yes, so currently, if you have solar already installed and you're within the next tax year of having claimed your 30% IRA tax credit, or given that you installed before it was introduced, whatever your prior tax credit was, your 30% will go towards the cost of that battery, the next applicable tax year. So if you got it installed after late April, it would come over into next tax year. And there's also a program available through Duke called Duke Power Pair. For anyone looking to install solar and battery backup, it's an up to $9,000 rebate. Now it's $400 per kilowatt hour of storage, up to 13.5 kilowatt hours, and I believe it's 0.36 cents per kilowatt for solar panels, up to remember the up to 10? Up to 10 kilowatts, which when you do the math, it's around $9,000. Now, depending on the panels used, that's around 20 panels or less, depending on who the installer is, what the choice is, and what you decide to go with. It can depend. You can also go above that limit, but you will not receive more than $9,000 in the rebate.
Thank you.
There's also an additional,
Yeah.
So there's also an additional rebate that Duke offers with the Power Pair program. And to qualify for that, you're going to put solar panels and a battery at the same time on your home. So as Isaac was saying, yes, up to $9,000. But in addition, Duke is interested in reading your battery. And when they read your battery, you are agreeing to be part of what's called cohort A. They will take a look at it. In cohort B, you offer Duke the opportunity to use the electricity stored in your battery. And for that, they will pay you. The algorithm is $6.50 times the battery's continuous AC output, times Duke's algorithm of 0.709. And I see a couple people raising their hand that want to give me the answer to that question. That's what that works out to be, is that some of the most popular batteries, like the Tesla Powerwall 3, that works out to be about $53, $52.99, and Phase is around I think it's 1722, and the Franklin battery as well works out to about I think it's $35. So there are lots of ways at the moment that Duke is incentivizing homeowners, especially here in North Carolina, to go solar and get storage on their panels.
They could incentivize us by stop taking all of our units on May 31st.
They didn't get back to us on that one, ironically.
I go around and ask all my neighbors if they want to charge their car today.
Hi there, follow-up question about Power Pair. So is Duke going to give any information or guarantee on the following situation? If I sign up in cohort B and it's a day where I want to use energy that's in my battery because say it's a cloudy day, and my solar panels aren't bringing energy in, How do I know there's going to be enough energy in my battery? I mean, won't Duke be using it wanting to use it at the same time? Are they talking about that scenario at all?
So they have to give you 48 hours advance notice before they use that energy. They can only do that 36 times in the course of a year. And you have the option of opting out of that 4 times a year. You can also switch back and forth between cohort A and cohort B 3 times in the program, which is 10 years, if for some reason you don't like the way that's going for you currently.
They make it
Uh,
any more complicated.
It's a pilot program.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pilot program. They are interested in studying this to see if they can help stabilize the grid by storing power in different places and using it. They can only use 80% of your battery. They can't drain it completely. They can't do that in the middle of a storm. They can't do that in the middle of an impending storm. They can't do that in a brownout. And as I said, you have the opportunity of opting out of that several times during the year.
Something else, I should probably mention that as this is a pilot program, they are accepting a limited number of individuals. Now, it's quite a large number. I believe it's 6,000 or so.
Yes.
So for the number of installs of solar throughout the United States, but also specifically North Carolina, that is quite a significant number and will most likely not fill up in the time frame that they have proposed. The window is beginning in May is when applications are formally submitted, and then the end of June or mid-June is when the application window closes. Now, we don't foresee 6,000 installations being signed up in that course of time. That would be incredible for a number of reasons, but also quite a big strain on all of the installers across North Carolina. So we foresee this opening back up to fill that quantity so they can have a proper research size. That is to say, you do not have to apply on May exactly. Both companies, both my Sugar Hollow Solar and Renew, are offering. You can begin to sign up now. We'll once again walk you through this a bit more, but it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's also something that needs a lot of reading on everyone's part to continue. Yeah.
One more question online. Time Magazine in January said the rooftop solar industry could be on the verge of collapse. Could one of you comment on that?
Sure. Electricity is the future. There are companies that saw rooftop solar as the Wild West and acted that way. And both of our companies suffer at times from the stigma that comes with that. Neither one of us have or have ever behaved in that way. So I will offer that I don't think that's going away anytime soon. What we have found is that we have about 6,000 installations in the Carolinas, but 11,000 service contracts. Because we pick up, and I'm sure Sugar Hollow does as well, contracts from homeowners that have purchased solar from other companies that were, I'm fond of saying, sort of down for the wedding, interested in the honeymoon, but didn't stick around for the marriage. And we have made a decision as an organization to make sure that our most important customers are the ones that we have and to maintain that service over years. So I don't think rooftop solar is going anywhere. I completely acquiesce to the fact that it has gotten a bad rep.
And I would like to also make an addendum to that. That's a fantastic point. We call them orphan systems, unfortunately. There are quite a few around here, and there are several names, which we will not bring up, but of companies that have existed and had not the best business practices. So we do our best to help service those. As he mentioned, we are also doing our best to prioritize our customers first, but we do see the service industry as becoming a much larger portion of the solar market. Also, it's important to note that 2023 was a rough year across the entirety of the solar industry. We're not going to paint a picture of a perfect industry either. It was a hard time for everyone throughout the United States, but we're also seeing a very strong first quarter of 2024, and we're seeing a lot of pickup from 2023 the last quarter, where there's a lot of interest driving folks. And also I can't speak for the Fed, no one really can, but we are seeing interest rates beginning to take a little, not much of a hike. Let's knock on wood and hope that doesn't happen. But all that together is saying that I don't think it's going to be a collapse by any means. It's already a bright 2024.
So you disagree with Time Magazine, the article? Don't shoot the messenger.
No. I think that they did their research in terms of the gross volume of solar companies that had issues, but I also believe that there are standouts. If you're familiar with the solar industry, Amicus, AMICUS, is a collection of smaller solar companies. It's cooperative and all owned by almost entirely company owned, much like ourselves, who have formed across, I think it's 48 states, maybe 49 now, of smaller solar installers who are committed to providing service to all and the best we can, and avoiding business practices which we do not agree with.
Well, I want to thank Sophie to begin with. And I want to thank John and Isaac for stepping forward on the spur of the moment. So thank you. John and Isaac will be out if you guys want to give them a maintenance contract. I'm sure they would be happy to hear from you. And I want to invite all of you guys, May 1st, the first Wednesday of the month, to hear about beautiful hiking trails and where the wildflowers are the first week in May. So come back to let you know. In June, we'll be talking about dense housing. Mountain True will be talking about that. July, we'll have a picnic and we will just have fun the second Saturday of July. Dave, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, I wanted to make another invitation to come out to Drive Electric Earth Month at the Asheville Outlets on Sunday, the 21st of April. And in doing that, I'd like to give Sugar Hollow a shout out. The outlets are charging us rent now for the first time, and Sugar Hollow stepped up to the plate to pay that rent for us. And they also are giving away an e-bike. You can register online and talk to Isaac.
And I also want to encourage you to think about the Duke hearing, which is next Tuesday. There are some talking points on the table if you're interested, and go to our website. So thank you all for coming. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Make sure and log out of here. Nice to meet you.